I went on Pixabay, which is a free music platform, and I liked one music. I simply went ahead and I've already downloaded the audio file on my desktop, and I'll be using this audio file to add music to my podcast. So in order to add music, what you need to do is you need to just do the same thing. You need to go up here and say import audio. My audio is on my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and say open. And now you see two files, one below the other. You have certain options on the left side of both the audio files. You can either play both the tracks at the same time by clicking on the play button, or you can simply click on solo. When you say solo, only the podcast audio file will play. If I say solo for this, only the music will play. If I mute this, then again only the music will play, and if I mute the music, only the podcast audio will play. So as you notice that my podcast file runs about for over 6 minutes, but my music is just for 2.5 minutes. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be re-importing my file and music file, and I'm going to be placing it right next to the music file that I've already imported. The music is the same. I want it to just simply go on in loops. So I'm going to go ahead and say file, import, audio, look for my same audio file, open it. It opens at the third track. I don't have to worry. I'm just going to go ahead and hold it on top of the gray area and simply place it right next to my already placed audio file. I still see that some parts of my my podcast are still without audio. The music file. So I'm going to be doing the same thing, importing my music a third time, and you can notice that it has simply created a fourth layer or timeline, and I'm going to be going ahead and placing this one right next to each other, and I'm going to be ensuring that there's no space between these so that I don't get a gap. I'll also ensure that the music doesn't fade, so I'm going to be getting rid of some parts of this music and some parts of this music so that there's no fading. You notice that my music file is really long and my podcast is ending at 6:15. So I'm going to be using my multi-tool, and I'm going to be waiting, clicking on it, and I'm going to go ahead and simply pull my music file such that I'm going to go ahead and reduce the file. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and do that. When you get that sign which has a bracket and the arrows next to each other, you know that you can go ahead and reduce the size. When my file comes exactly in line with my podcast audio file, you will see that there's a yellow line. That yellow line indicates that now both the files are exactly at the same minute, are ending at the same minute. I'm going to go ahead and delete my bottom timeline. Now let's go ahead and click on the play button and see how both my audio files sound, and see if I need to make any changes to make them sound better. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my audio because I already noticed that my music is really loud and I can see the purple portion really wide, whereas the purple portion here in my podcast audio is really, really small. This indicates that my music file is really loud and it's going to be empowering and controlling over my podcast file. Let's go and see what we can hear. So I've already reduced my audio. So play.
Artificial intelligence making us dumber. It's not just speculation. A groundbreaking MIT
So let's go ahead and fix this. I'm going to go ahead and use my envelope tool, and I'm going to go ahead and reduce the purple options, right? And this is how I'm going to go ahead and reduce my purple options. Okay. You simply go ahead and click on the envelope tool, bring the tool here. You'll have two arrows next to each other, and you simply drag your cursor. I'll do the same thing here, and I guess it automatically kind of adjusted that. I'm going to be making this track in line with the earlier track, and the same for this one. When I click, it just reduces the audio, and then I'm going to go ahead and make it in line with the earlier audio. So now I see that they're in line, but I still see that they're really loud. So I'm going to see how they sound. If they sound really loud, I'm going to be further reducing them, or I'll simply work on my podcast file and increase the purple portion here. I have gone ahead and reduced the purple areas. Another way to ensure that your podcast's audio is the dominant one, you can also go ahead and play with the functions on the left side. The first function that you see is the volume, so you can reduce the volume of this particular music clip. Here I see that my music audio kind of transitions down, but my podcast's audio remains at the same level. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this part of my music file, so that the tempo remains the same, the volume and the speed of the music remains the same. This will also be an example on how to cut a clip. So to cut a clip, I simply use my selection tool, and I go ahead and cut the part of the clip that I do not want. Okay, then I right click and I say cut, right? It automatically, the next clip automatically jumps to the first one. I'm going to go ahead and do the same here, where the clip kind of transitions down, because I don't want the music to go down. So I'm going to use my selection tool again, select the part of the clip that I do not want, right click and say cut. I'm also going to be moving this clip here and deleting a part of this clip. So if I zoom, I can see how much of the clip I need to delete. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this part and cut. And I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to go ahead and copy paste my music clip again, so that this part fills out and both my clips are at the same level. So my project is almost done. I've gone ahead and added music and edited the parts of the music which I do not want, and my podcast is almost ready. However, I realized that my podcast doesn't have an introduction where the host and the co-hosts are introducing themselves and also introducing the podcast to the listeners. So what I did was I simply went back on 11 Labs. I went under Studio and start from scratch, and I simply went ahead and typed out an introduction. I took it from the internet and gave Chris and Jessica's voice as the co-host, and also named my podcast. Then I exported this audio file and went back to Audacity. I imported that file into Audacity into my project, and Audacity created a third track for me. However, I don't want a third track. I just simply want to go ahead and put this introductory track in front of my original track. So I'll have to simply copy paste this particular track and put it in front of my original podcast. So it's really simple. You can, even when you are duplicating the music, you can go and use this trick where you are using the selection tool. Use simply select the track, and this is, as I said, this is the introductory track. I'm going to go ahead and uh, uh, select a bit away from the edge of it so that I don't end up cutting it. And what you do is you simply say cut. So I'm going to go ahead and paste it here in this particular part. So I go ahead and select where I want to paste it. I again select the area where I want to paste, right click and say paste, and you will notice that I have picked up this introductory track from the third track and put it back in my first track. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these spaces by simply moving my tracks and sticking them together so that they are cohesive. And now I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Everybody, this is Chris, and you're listening to the High Tech Podcast, the show that focuses on the impact of technology on humans. And joining me is my co-host, Jessica. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, Chris. Welcome to the show, everyone. Today, we will talk about AI's influence on the human brain.
Artificial intelligence making us dumber? It's not just speculation anymore. A groundbreaking MIT study has measured exactly how AI writing tools are rewiring our brains.
Okay, looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and export this into audio, and I'll go ahead and submit it on Canvas. In order to export it, you go under File and Export Audio. You can again export it in an MP3 or MP4 format and upload it on Canvas as your final project.